In this screencast, I'm going to continue on from the previous two screencasts on Zenoss. This time around, we're going to be looking at how to enable SNMP on a Cisco router and adding that into Zenoss so that it can be monitored. We're then going to have a look at sending the log messages from that Cisco router and forwarding them through to Zenoss so they'll show up as Zenoss events. And then finally, we'll go back to the test Linux server that we created in the last couple of screencasts, and also do the same thing with the syslog. They're forwarding any syslog messages through to Zenoss. So to start off with, I'm just going to log into the router to configure SNMP. Now I'm using an RS-232, a USB adapter to a serial connection to connect in to the Cisco router here. And that should give me a prompt. So first thing to do is just to get into privilege exec mode there, and then I'm just going to go into configuration mode and firstly set a host name. So I'm just going to call this router 1. Not going to worry about anything else like setting the time or enabling turning on a password. But first thing I'm going to do is give it an IP address, because of course in order to monitor this router it first has to be on the network so Zenoss can get to it. And on my network here I'm just going to give it an address of 172.16.1.5, set the subnet mask, and now of course actually bring the interface up with the no shutdown command. So there you can see the interface has come up. Now actually I'll just jump into the client Linux server that we'd set up previously and make sure I can ping that address. And it's just taking a little while for the interface to come up, so we're getting responses. That's good, it's on the network. Now in order to configure to turn on SNMP on a router, and in this particular case I'm using a Cisco, I think it's an 1841. We'll have a look at that soon. It'll actually show up what model of router it is when I put it into Zenoss. But to start off with, you want to get in configuration mode. So if you'd log in en conft, and then we're going to use the command snmp server and use the public community and give read-only access to that. There's only two other things, and these are optional that we can pop in there. We can use the command snmp-server space contact to put a person that's responsible for the server in, and maybe snmp server location, also put that in there. And these things will actually show up under Zenoss once we've added it to Zenoss. And that's all you have to do. That's a very basic SNMP configuration. I wouldn't recommend using this if your server's on an untrusted network, because this basically gives anyone from any IP address within that network access to read any of the SNMP settings. But for us it's going to be fine. And of course finally we'll want to just save the running configuration to the startup config file. So actually do copy run start. And that's all we need to do to enable SNMP. Of course, if you didn't catch any of those commands, I'll also post them up on the website along with this video. So now that SNMP is enabled, and we can jump back into Zenoss here. And again, the password is admin, and Zenoss is the password by default. I haven't changed any of those settings. And in here, just as we did previously in the last screencast, we want to add a new device. Under device name, because I'm not running DNS on my network, I'm just going to give the IP address instead. I configured that to 172.16.1.5. But now under the device class, where we had previously selected server/Linux, this of course is a Cisco router. So under this device class combo box you'll find /network/router/Cisco, and this is going to be the option you want to select there. Again, I'm just disregarding any of these other options, which can be good for asset management. You can place like hardware manufacturer and a whole bunch of other information in there about the device, but I'm just going to click on the add device button at the bottom. Now Zenoss is going to go through and model the device, and it should pick up that the device has SNMP running on it, and it looks good because it's picked up the name there as router 1. So I'm just going to click on the link at the bottom, and we can go in and we can see that it has in fact picked up that it's running SNMP. Now from those commands that we entered before, you can see it's picked up the contact name. I entered joadmin and also the location there, and sorry, you can see it's a Cisco 1841 router that I'm using. Again, just like the Linux server, there's a few tabs here. You can get performance information. This will give CPU utilization and the free memory. Under hardware, not a lot there, but under OS, and this is quite cool, all the interfaces are listed out there. So I haven't got this connected up to anything other than the Ethernet interface that we're using to connect in on there. So you can see all the others are down, but these BRI interfaces, you can see it's got an ISDN adapter in it, and so that's how you add a Cisco router into Zenoss. Very simple and quite simple to enable SNMP, but as I said, that configuration is rather insecure. You probably want to set up some access control lists if you're going to be using this in a live environment. So we can see also it's generated an event there saying that it's just discovered the device. Now for the second part of the tutorial, what we're going to want to do is get the Cisco device here to forward any log messages through to Zenoss. So for example, if an interface comes up or goes down, instead of just showing up on the console, we want it to forward that event through to Zenoss, so it will show up in the web interface here. To do that, again, it's a really simple command. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you do it from configuration mode. So actually, let's just step out of this. You want to get into privilege exec mode and then conf t to get into configuration mode. The command to forward all the login events through to Zenoss is logging, and then the IP address or DNS name of your Zenoss server, and that's it. Very simple. So I'm just going to again save that configuration just in case my router's turned off and back on. Whoops. Copy, run to start. So now that should start forwarding any events through to Zenoss, and we'll see them all pop up in here. So straight away you can already see it's actually picked up that I've made a configuration change to the router, and it's logged it. Instead of logging it just to the syslog on the Cisco router, it's actually forwarded that message through to Zenoss component sys and being configured from console by console, because that's the port that I'm logged in on. So that's how to do that. So finally, what we're going to want to do is effectively exactly the same thing we've done here, but this time for a Linux device, so a Linux server. Everything out of the var log syslog file we want to forward through to Zenoss. So if I just go back to my device list, and in here I've still got that example server we set up in the first video. I'm just going to go into here and into the events tab. Now there's no new events in there currently, so this is the shell for the test server there. This again is very simple to do. All you need to do is edit this /etc syslog .conf file, and it's just a case of putting in a single line. So we're just saying here star.star, and then, sorry, I believe it's at, and then the IP address of the server you want to forward it to. So this is saying basically any events that show up in the log here, we want to forward them to 172.16.1.1, which is the IP address my Zenoss server is listening on. I'm just going to write that configuration file, and then of course after making that change we need to restart the login daemon. So you can do that with invoke-rc.d syslog-d restart. And now any events that come up on here, anything that would otherwise usually show up under the var syslog, it'll still show up under there as well, but it's also going to forward through all these messages to Zenoss. So let's just go back into Zenoss here and see if anything's showing up. It's already straight away there, it's saying restart. Now that's not talking about the system restart, it's showing up that in this particular case I was restarting the syslog daemon. But I'm just trying to think of something we could do. Let's say we turn off SNMP here, just as an example. We stop that. Now, besides Zenoss showing up that it won't be able to monitor the device by SNMP, there's also a log straight away shown up here. This is what has appeared in that var log syslog file, saying receive term or stop signal shutting down from the SNMP component. Sorry. And if I did a tail on /var log syslog, you can see exactly the same message in here. So it's just forwarding everything from the var log syslog file straight through to Zenoss, which is really handy. So that's all I was going to show in this tutorial. These things are really simple to enable, but obviously quite handy to do, because it means that all your logging, everything's centralized. You can log in via Zenoss, go to your dashboard, and straight away, if anything's non-critical, it'll show up in blue down here. But if you had any alerts that really required attention showing up under the syslog, either on your Cisco device or on your Linux servers, they'd show up under the device issues here, and you can attend to them straight away. Thanks for watching.